The 2022 Wimbledon final was locked at a set apiece. Novak Djokovic, the greatest returner in history, faced a break point. He served wide to Nick Kyrgios's backhand. Kyrgios, using a one-handed slice, did not try to hit it hard. The ball floated low over the net, skidding through the grass. Djokovic, stretched wide, could only shovel a weak reply back into the court. Kyrgios had turned defense into offense with a single, soft touch. He won the point. That shot, not a thunderous winner, was the more powerful play. This contradicts every modern instinct. Power in tennis is measured in swing speed and ball velocity. By that metric, the two-handed backhand is superior. It uses two arms for stability, allowing a player to swing faster from a more closed stance. The data confirms this. Yet at the highest levels of the sport, a significant portion of points are decided by the one-handed backhand. Not by overwhelming force, but by a different kind of power. The power of disguise, of variety, of creating time and angles that simply do not exist for the two-handed shot. The one-hander's dominance is not in raw speed, but in strategic weight. It changes the geometry of the game. This section will dissect that counterintuitive reality. It will show how a shot perceived as a weakness has become, for a select group of elite players, their most potent weapon. The explanation lies not in the muscles, but in the milliseconds. The degrees of angle and the tactical chaos one flick of the wrist can introduce. So the two strokes are not just variations on a theme. They are fundamentally different answers to the same question. The one-handed backhand is a lever. It uses a longer sweeping motion. The player's entire side, from the back foot through the shoulder, unwinds to propel the ball. The hitting arm is mostly straight. The wrist is firm, locked in a continental or eastern backhand grip. This creates a long, flowing arc. The two-handed backhand is a piston. It uses a shorter, more compact motion. The player's core and hips rotate, but the arms work together as a single unit. The non-dominant hand, usually in an eastern forehand grip, adds control and force. This creates a stable, powerful coil. They exist in the same competitive arena. The baseline of a modern tennis court. This is a space 78 feet long and 27 feet wide. The ball arrives from across the net at speeds exceeding 80 miles per hour. It kicks up off the clay, skids through on grass, or bounces predictably on hard court. Each backhand is a tool engineered for this environment. But each tool solves the core problem, returning force with interest, in a radically different way. One prioritizes reach and angular creation. The other prioritizes stability and immediate power. The battle is not about which is objectively better. It is about which engineering solution fits a specific player's physical blueprint and tactical mind. The modern divergence didn't start with philosophy. It started with equipment. For decades, tennis was played with small, heavy wooden rackets strung with natural gut. These frames offered very little power. Generating pace required a long, fluid, full-body swing. The one-handed backhand was perfect for this. It was a sweeping, classical stroke, using the entire kinetic chain from the ground up to whip the racket head through the ball. It was the only efficient way to create force. Then, in the late 1960s, the first metal frames arrived. By the mid-1970s, composite materials like graphite revolutionized the sport. Rackets became larger, lighter, and exponentially more powerful. Suddenly, players could generate pace with shorter, more compact swings. This new technology created an opening. A two-handed grip provided immense stability for these stiff, powerful frames, allowing a player to take the ball earlier and redirect pace with control. It turned defense into offense. Court surfaces accelerated the split. The one-hander thrived on fast, low-bouncing grass and carpet where slice and versatility were king. But as the professional tour became dominated by slower, high-bouncing hard and clay courts, a problem emerged. The high bounce often rose to shoulder height for a one-handed player, forcing an awkward, arm-dominated shot. The two-handed backhand solved this. It provided the leverage and strength to handle these high contact points with attacking intent. The tools and the arena changed, and the strokes evolved in response. But why does the one-handed technique persist at the highest level? Its power comes from a specific sequence, a kinetic chain that begins far from the racket. It starts with the feet. A one-hander demands a precise side-on stance. The hips and shoulders coil back, storing elastic energy like a spring. The swing itself is a single, unified motion. The legs drive upward, the torso uncoils, and the arm extends through the ball in one fluid arc. The contact point is critical. It must be further in front of the body than any other shot. This allows the player to transfer that full body momentum into the ball. The wrist acts as a final firm hinge, locking through impact to provide control, not a source of whip. This is why the shot is so susceptible to late contact or high balls. Break the chain at any link, and the structure collapses. The classic example is Roger Federer's backhand. His preparation was early, his footwork exact, and his contact point was consistently out in front, allowing him to that graceful driving shot. It is not a stroke of arm strength, it is a full-body theorem executed under pressure. Where the one-hander is a lever, the two-handed backhand is a vault. It locks the body into a unified rotational system. Stability is its foundation. The non-dominant hand, typically placed above the dominant hand on the grip, acts as a guide and a brace. This eliminates the single wrist hinge that can waver under pressure. The shot is not swung, it is rotated. Power comes not from a long, arcing swing, but from a tight, explosive coil and uncoil of the torso. The legs drive up, the core twists, and both arms transfer that rotation through the racket. It's a kinetic chain with shorter links, making it easier to time, especially when pulled wide or on the rise. The contact point is also closer to the body, creating a fortified, compact hitting zone that is less prone to breaking down. This compactness is the secret to its defensive prowess. A player can block back a powerful serve or a heavy topspin ball with a shortened, arm-only swing, something nearly impossible with a one-handed technique. The two-hander provides a reliable escape valve when there is no time for a full weight transfer. It turns defensive scrambles into neutral balls. However, this very stability imposes its own limit. The shot's range is confined. Reaching for a wide ball often means letting go with the top hand, reverting to a makeshift one-hander. And the grip can restrict access to acute angles, particularly the sharp cross-court winner. It is a fortress, but its walls define its borders. But with two distinct weapons now built, which one wins the actual war? The answer is written on the court surface itself. Grass, like at Wimbledon, is the one-hander's natural kingdom. The low, skidding bounce plays directly into its strengths. The linear, forward strike of the single-hander allows a player to take the ball early, on the rise, intercepting it before the awkward bounce. Roger Federer's 8 Wimbledon titles were a clinic in this principle. On clay, however, the equation flips. The high, looping bounce of the French Open pushes the contact point up near the shoulders, a zone where the one-hander's leverage weakens. Here, the two-hander thrives. With two hands on the racket, a player can generate massive topspin from that high contact point, creating the heavy, dipping shots that Rafael Nadal used to dominate Roland Garros for over a decade. Playstyle creates another decisive filter. Against a relentless power-based attacker, the two-hander is a superior shield. Its inherent stability allows for solid blocks and aggressive counterpunches on the run. But against a crafty, varied opponent who uses slice and changes of pace, the one-hander offers a key advantage: adaptability. The single-handed player can more easily switch between a topspin drive, a flat punch, and a biting slice without a drastic grip change. This makes them unpredictable. A player like Stefanos Tsitsipas can disrupt an opponent's rhythm by mixing these shots seamlessly. A tactical flexibility that is harder to achieve with two hands locked on the handle. The court and the opponent, therefore, dictate which backhand is truly dominant. But that real-world dominance comes with a cost. The modern game is a constant calculation of risk and reward. And the choice of backhand sits at the center of the most heated coaching debate in tennis. It's a tactical trade-off with physical consequences. The two-hander offers a fortress of stability. It allows a player to take the ball later, even on the rise, with a much lower risk of error. This creates relentless pressure, but that stability can become a cage. The shot's compact nature limits reach, especially on wide balls, and can restrict the variety of angles a player can create. The one-hander trades that consistency for opportunity. Its longer lever and open stance provide superior reach and the ability to generate sharper angles. turning defense into offense with a single flick of the wrist. Yet that same fluid motion is vulnerable. It demands perfect timing and footwork. Under the heavy, high-velocity spin of today's game, that technique can break down. This leads directly to the injury ledger. Biomechanical studies, like those from the British Journal of Sports Medicine, point to a higher prevalence of wrist and elbow stress injuries in one-handed players, a product of that singular point of force application. The two-hander distributes the load across two arms and shoulders, often leading to different but sometimes less acute overuse patterns. Consequently, a clear schism has formed in coaching philosophy. Most academies now teach the two-hander as the default, a safer investment for the modern baseline war. The one-hander is increasingly treated as a high-risk, high-reward specialty, a shot preserved for those with exceptional natural timing, or as a legacy skill passed down from a previous era. The debate isn't about which is better but which is smarter. But the human eye can be deceived by elegance or by force. The modern game, however, is judged by machines. Systems like Hawkeye don't see artistry or effort. They see vectors, spin rates, and impact locations. This data strips the debate of bias, revealing a hidden hierarchy of shot-making. The numbers show a clear, counterintuitive split. The two-handed backhand, built for stability, consistently generates higher average groundstroke speeds. Its locked structure allows players to swing through the ball with less fear of error, translating raw rotational force into pace. Yet the one-handed backhand, for all its perceived fragility, dominates a different metric: the ability to hit winners from defensive positions. Its extended reach and superior wrist mobility create sharper angles, especially on the run, that the two-hander's compact swing cannot replicate. This creates a tactical map written in data. The two-hander wins longer, grinding rallies through consistent depth and heavy topspin. The one-hander shortens points, exploiting fleeting windows with a single surgical strike. The data also exposes a critical vulnerability: impact height is everything. Hawkeye confirms that the one-hander's strike zone is narrow, peaking between waist and shoulder height. A ball dropping below the knees forces a drastic, weakened adjustment. The two-hander, with its lower center of gravity, maintains offensive pressure on low balls, turning defense into attack. Ultimately, the analytics show that neither shot is universally superior. They are tools engineered for different problems. One maximizes control under pressure. The other maximizes opportunity from chaos. The choice isn't about tradition or style, but about which mathematical reality a player chooses to weaponize. So the data shows the potential is there for both. But choosing which to master isn't just about physics. It's a fundamental statement about how a player sees the game. The one-handed backhand is a specialization. It is a high-risk, high-reward commitment to an offensive identity. It demands perfect footwork and timing, but in return, it offers unique angles and a potent weapon on faster courts. It is a declaration: I will control the point with this shot. This path accepts more errors for the chance at more winners. It is a strategy built on precision and aggression. The two-handed backhand, by contrast, is an adaptation. It is the more stable, reliable platform. It forgives late preparation and handles high balls with ease, making it a superior defensive tool. It allows a player to neutralize an opponent's attack from almost anywhere on the court. This choice says, I will survive your best shot and then I will outlast you. It is a strategy built on consistency and counterpunching. Ultimately, this technical fork represents one of sport's oldest tensions: the specialist versus the generalist. One path seeks a dominant weapon to decide points quickly. The other builds a resilient system to win long wars of attrition. Neither is objectively correct. The history of the game is written by those who either perfect their specialty or evolve their adaptability to its absolute limit. The backhand is not merely a stroke. It is the physical manifestation of a competitive philosophy. The conversation always starts with power. The two-hander, with its locked-in base and explosive rotation, seems to generate it effortlessly. The one-hander, with its elegant extension and singular contact point, appears to be fighting an uphill battle. But the data, the slow-motion analysis, the geometry of the court, all point to a different truth. The real contest was never about raw strength. It was about the precise application of force. Consider the one-handed backhand. Its power does not come from a massive wind-up. It comes from a perfectly timed kinetic chain. The coil of the hips, the uncoiling of the torso, the forward drive of the shoulder. And finally, the whip-like release of the arm. Each segment must fire in sequence, like a falling line of dominoes. One mistimed link, a foot planted a fraction late, a hip opening too soon, and the entire structure collapses. The shot loses its pace and depth. It becomes a liability. This is not a shot of muscle. It is a shot of millisecond perfect mechanics. Now look at the two-hander. Its power seems more straightforward. Two hands on the racket offer more control, allowing a player to swing harder with less fear of the face twisting. But the true engineering is in its defensive utility. It enables a player to take the ball much later, to generate power from positions where a one-hander would be stretched and weak. Its power isn't necessarily greater at the peak. Its power is more consistently available from more compromised court positions. It trades the one-hander's high-risk, high-reward apex for a broader, more reliable power band. The debate, then, is not which shot hits harder in a vacuum. It is a question of which engineering philosophy better solves the problem of modern tennis. One design seeks perfect, unimpeachable contact through flawless biomechanical sequencing. The other design prioritizes structural stability, allowing power to be manufactured from chaos. One is a precision scalpel, lethal when the conditions are perfect. The other is a versatile multi-tool, effective in almost any scenario. The choice a player makes is not about their physical strength, but about their tolerance for risk, their trust in their own timing, and their vision of the points they want to play. And so the final answer to the question isn't found in a radar gun reading. It's written in the preparation of every step, the angle of every shoulder, the unwavering commitment of a player to their chosen instrument. The trophy is not awarded to the strongest. It is awarded to the one who engineered their strength most effectively. Point after point, under the relentless pressure of competition. The entire sport at its highest level is an argument won not by force, but by precision.